I'm going to read you my book from one of Alvin Boyd Kuhn's books, which, again, I mentioned this morning that Carlos Suarez is one of my mentors and teachers, and I've learned so much from him, but also from this man, Alvin Boyd Kuhn. I'm greatly indebted to the work and the research that he gave his life for, and obviously I think he was a man way ahead of his time, and I think his work, I think it should be required. My opinion, it should be required, but it's really, really profound book. This book, somebody posted this on my website. Matter of fact, I'll tell you who it was John Crawford. Yeah. He said it's the best book he's ever read in his life. I would agree with him that it's up in the top. You know, probably top 5 books in India's True Voice. It's a critique on Hinduism. Okay. And as being a critique on Hinduism, the core of Hinduism is just like the core of Christianity. It's way off base from its original writings. Yeah. If you understand what I mean. That's true with most all religions. They are not what they were originally were. Most of them 2,000 years ago and older, doesn't matter. They have become religionized. Do Alvin Boyd Kuhn, I'll make a word. So anyway, this is something I wrote quite some time back, and I want to read this to you kind of to open up this afternoon what we want to look at. This inner light, Beverly, what you were singing about, this inner light is a light that first comes from the outer source. In other words, the light that God is, or that is God / source / energy / power / so many words that can be used as synonyms for the one word God. Mm-hmm. One word that cannot be used for the word God is man. Because God is not man, God is in man. God's not an individual, separate man of itself, somewhere out in space. Yeah. It is not. We're taught in Christianity that it is. We're taught in Christianity that it's an old gray-headed man out there somewhere. But that's not true. God is light, as we talked about this morning, the eternal circle without a beginning and without an end is the great symbol. Not the only one, but just one of many great symbols that are always given. The symbols are there for just teachers. They're pointers. That's what I am. I'm just a pointer. I'm pointing to things for you to contemplate. And if you can contemplate them, my opinion is they will set you free. They will grow you up. They will bring us into that inheritance that is ours all the time. We have it, many times don't implement it, don't know how. And so this light, which is, again, all of these different terminologies, and first, it is come first through the seed of your father. Medical science has proven that the sperm that penetrates the egg, one of the ingredients of that sperm is light. And now we know without a doubt, quantum science has helped us to really know without a doubt that we are light. Gosh, I can remember preaching at a conference 10, 12, 15 years ago, and I said that the word that's used there in Genesis chapter 2, I think it's chapter 2, verse 7, where that God formed us out of the dust, I said that word dust is afar in Hebrew, and it doesn't mean dirt. But everybody thought it meant dirt. And so to start out with, everybody thought we were mud balls. Yes. But the word afar in Hebrew means light particles. It means dust. It means so many minute particles of light. Well, now quantum science has validated that and has proven that we are from light particles. Well, those particles of light penetrated that egg in the seed of your mom, and that began the explosion of your birthing, of your being, as we talked about this morning. So that the stick man is that representative, the representative of you. So this light, the source, comes first through the seed, the sperm, or the word, in the vehicle of the spirit soul. The spirit is a spark of the great light, and the soul is designed to carry that light and the knowledge and information of that light. Excuse me. So did you get that? You see, there is such a gross misunderstanding of spirit, soul, and body. Not just the misunderstanding of spirit, soul, and body, total misinformation of spirit, soul, and body. And so we lack that information and that teaching so that we can understand the functions of each of these. Because they have functions, they have designs, and everything is designed to function in its purpose and in its place. The soul don't function as the place of the spirit. The spirit don't function as the place of the soul, nor does the body function in the place of either of them, but they function together as one unit. And they're designed that way. They are made that way. But putting them in their proper places and understanding them better gives you and me a greater ability to be who we are and what we're designed to be. So the spirit is a spark of this great light, and the soul is designed to carry the light and the knowledge and the information of this light. This inner light that seeks outer expression. Okay? The inner light. Everybody has it. It seeks expression through the outer, into the manifest physical world. Because, you see, God don't know what chocolate cake or walnut cream, Italian cream cake. God don't know what it tastes like until you taste it for Him. And He said, "Oh God, that's good. Can I have another piece?" I mean, the reason I know God says that's because I am God, and I just said it. So that, I know that would be offensive to most people, and I don't mean it in an offensive way. I just simply mean that we need to be more aware of the presence of God in our being, and not only just being aware of it, but to release it to be what it's designed itself to be in and through us. And that's a phenomenal thing. So, this inner light seeks outer expression, and let's see here. Let me back up. My print's getting small here. This inner light that seeks outer expression and the outer light that seeks deposit inward may seem to be a contradiction, but it is summed up in two words used in the book of Genesis, chapter 3, verses 14 through 17, and chapter 8, verse 4, as the word or. Or. Now, I told you this morning that this word right here in Hebrew is or. This word is or. They have a similar pronunciation, but this one is spelt with the ayin, and this one's spelt with the alif. And so, but even though both of them have ayin, alif, both have a sound, many times people give an e or an o sound to the alif. I mean, they do. Just like if you say Elohim, you say El with the E sound rather than Al with the A sound. Or you can actually say it Ol with an O sound. You see what I'm saying? But it's still the same glip, and it still has the same meaning. And so this word, and I want you to just hear this word in Hebrew, or. And I'll give you an illustration of this. This word is used in the English in Genesis chapter 3 for the word curse. Wow, well now wait a minute. What we were told that a curse was is always something bad. But it's not. You see, the outer light, that's the or right here, seeks expression in the inner light. That's the seed of your father that penetrated the egg. Now that outer light has become materialized as an inner light. That is called curse. The reason for it is because it creates tension. Tension is what you have to live in the material manifest world. Your heart works only off positive, negative tension. It won't pulse if it didn't have that. It has to have that tension for it to pulse. So when we read that in Genesis chapter 3, because the man and the woman, we were told, had made a horrendous mistake. They had disobeyed God. Now God's outside mad. He's upset, and he said, well, heck, I'm going to kill everybody now. So he wants to wipe out everything. See, all of those are warped and twisted ideas from the priestcraft, and they've sold us these ideas. We bought them hook, line, and sinker and believe them, and they're not a truth that's in them at all. So, I said it's used in two words. That's in Genesis chapter 3, where we find that word curse. And actually the word is just light from without, seeking expression through the light from within. Anybody can break the word down, look at it, go back to Hebrew, and you'll see that's exactly what it is. So, then we have another word. We go on a little bit further over into Genesis chapter 8, and here's another phenomenal story. You know, if you cannot be mad and be offended so bad, if you can go back and look at these and just realize these are fairy tales. These are tremendous stories. There's more content, more intent, more depth in these stories by understanding them to be phenomenal stories than you would by trying to make them historical and figure out how in the world they could work, because in your mind they don't work historically. You can't float a boat in 22 feet of water. That's that big. It won't float. It has to have more than 20. But that's how much water was predicted. All of those measurements are mythological. They all fit in geometric design. And if we could understand that and realize there's meaning in all of those numbers in the Hebrew glyphs. So when you come to Genesis chapter 8, the English translates this word Ararat. It's the same identical word as curse. It just adds the last glyph in the Hebrew alphabet, the Tov. It adds it to the end of the word. Tov, and it's called Ararat. And really what that means is because it adds the Tov to the end of it, you remember if God is the eternal circle, timeless, and yet God wants to be in time, He has to segregate or divide the circle into increments. And in those increments now, He can measure itself. Now it can say, well, here I have movement, because we can measure its movement. And that first division is the cross. That's why the circle and the cross is one of the most ancient symbols. It's everywhere. Just about on every continent of the world, you'll see the symbol of the circle and the cross. And all it represents is timelessness and time. It represents eternity in mortality. It represents God in man. The cross always represents man because man is hung on the cross in time. The circle always represents divinity because it's God without time, without beginning, and without end of days. So when we can put all that together and we can realize that, we can begin to get a better grasp of who we are. So we have these two words completely misunderstood. Why? Because we took a story, and rather than to understand the story and to try to see the intent and the depth of the story, we made it historical, we made it literal, we lost the meaning of it. But we're getting that back. We're beginning to gain the meaning of it. Get it back. So curse just simply means tension, because it's this whole physical world works on contrast. You realize hot and cold is a contrast. This world works on that contrast. It's not wrong. This world works. The knowledge of this world is from Ra and Tov, good and evil. Those are the fruits. Those are the manifestations of what this world produced. That's not right. That's not wrong. So, and find a better meaning of the word Ra in Hebrew, which is translated evil. It's also translated for love. It's also translated for my friend. It's also translated for my neighbor. It has many different translations of that one glyph. And it is all of that. So it's not right versus wrong, good versus bad, or good against evil. That's just not true. Those are the fruits off of this one tree that God places. And that's the tree of life, which is under the surface or within my being. And the tree of knowledge, which is the manifestation or the fruits that I see from my living this being. And many of the fruits that you see, you know what you say? It's an evil fruit. I produced them. Why? I just